Hi all, welcome to a quick summary and analysis of the Agile Classics ship bundle. So this is going to be released November 4th for 6,000 Zen, which includes the Tier 6 Nova and the Tier 6 Saber. So we're going to go over their new looks, stats, and give a general analysis of these two ships. So I do have some numbers from the stream, which the blogs now don't give you any numbers in terms of consoles and Starship Traits, so yep, watch those if you're wondering about the stats. Anyways, so there's no indication that they will be sold separately, although in the stream they said they will be. Anyways, they are in the Zen store, so. And in the 6,000 Zen bundle, you will get 2 fleet ship modules and 2 experimental ship upgrades, which appropriately you can use for these. Although in the blog there's no mention of fleet versions, which is somewhat concerning. But anyways, let's move on. First up is the Vinci Miracle Worker Escort. So this is, well, the the Saber class Tier 6 version. So yeah, we can look at that if you want to, but I'm going to go straight into the stats. Tier 6, yep, Federation Allied, and if you have your cross-faction flying unlocked by having your level 65 Klingon, or you bought it in the C-store, you can fly these on any faction. Same goes with the Nova, but we'll get to that. So must be complete tutorial to be able to use it. Well, that's obvious. 1.1 hull modifier, that's good for an escort. 0.9 modifier for shields, that's pretty standard. 4-3 weapons, a bit unfortunate. Could be 5-2. 5-2 is definitely preferable, but we'll get into that. There's something interesting about this ship. So 2 device slots, well, it's an escort. Lieutenant Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Miracle Worker, so you have your options. Lieutenant Commander Engineering, nice. You can definitely slot an emergency powered weapons 3 if you're going for a weapon build, energy weapon build. Ensign Science and Ensign Lieutenant Universal. So you have your options. It's quite versatile, actually. 4-3-3-1 consoles. So as a Miracle Worker ship, you do get the extra console. Although 4-3-3, that adds up to 10, which means this is not fleet level. And maybe we will get a future announcement for the fleet versions of these, but yeah, these are just regular level ships. Base turn of 16, that's not bad. 0.2 impulse modifier, good. 65 inertia, very good. 10 weapon powers, 5 shield, 10 engine, 5 auxiliary. Alright, so it's quite versatile. Yeah, nice. We'll look at the console in a bit. Can load dual cannons. Of course, it's an escort. An experimental weapon, and it comes with a Gatling Emitter. Innovation abilities that comes with Miracle Worker ships. And we'll have a look at the Starship Trait in a moment. And Admiralty stats if you're curious. Alright, so the Gatling Emitter. So this is the experimental weapon that comes with this ship. It takes a few seconds to spin up and lock onto your current foe, in which then it will continuously fire until your enemy is no longer a valid target, as in it dies or moves out of range. And it cannot be manually retargeted, so yeah, it keeps firing on your first target. Yeah, so the interesting thing about this is, as for stats, so this is the MK12 version I have from the stream. It's it takes 3 seconds to spin up. And it deals 534.6 kinetic damage 4 times per second. So multiply 534.6 by 4 to get your DPS. And the recharge is 8 seconds. So in essence, if for your first target, whatever you're targeting, it will not fire for the first 3 seconds. And assuming it's a target that lasts a bit, it will be in usage. But if you defeat it before 3 seconds, which if you have a high DPS build, that tends to happen, this Gatling Emitter will not be firing at all. The other issue is the 8-second recharge. So if you add up the 3-second spin-up time, that's 11 seconds of this weapon not firing. That's a very long time for nothing firing from this weapon. But one advantage of this is it does not cost weapon power. So, but it still cannot compete with the Soliton Wave Impeller, which is still the #1 for DPS anyway, experimental weapon, because it doesn't cost weapon power and it keeps firing at a very high rate, even faster if your engine power is high. So, yeah. And also this does kinetic damage while that one does radiation, so this is not going to be effective against shields, but given that 3-second spin-up time, you do have a little bit of time to take down shields. So, for the moment, without seeing it being tested, I think the viability of this is somewhat low, given also the 11 seconds of no action from this. But moving on, we have the Trius protocol console. So this one's very interesting. So it gives outgoing hull healing and weapon power cost. So 28.5% increase to outgoing hull healing and minus 18.8% weapon power cost. That's nice. So when you activate it, it increases weapon haste, beam damage, and it makes you unkillable for 8 seconds. So for the first 8 seconds, your energy damage is increased by 30%. You have 125% haste with your energy weapons, and you can't die. So that implies this can be very useful for PvP, and if you have survivability issues in PvE. But after that 8 seconds, your weapons are offline. You are put in stealth. And you restore 3% of your hull and shields each second for those 8 seconds. So that adds up to a total of 24% of your hull and shields healed up for those 8 seconds. And whenever you activate a hull heal, you get 2% critical chance for 10 seconds. And of course, it's a 2-minute recharge, as with most ship consoles. So that's actually, yeah, as I mentioned, it could be quite interesting to be used in PvP, especially if it makes you unkillable. Alright, so the weapon, the Starship Trait, here's it gets very interesting. So when you activate Beam Overload, fire at will, or exceed rated limits, it increases beam damage. Now this is an Escort. It's somewhat implied that this Da Vinci class might be useful as a beam escort. Speaking of beam escorts and PvP, beam escorts are apparently, as far as I am aware, a very viable kind of build for PvP, as it allows you to continuously move while still being able to use most of your weapons. So, well, I suppose if you want to build it that way, but keep in mind again, Starship Traits are not locked to the ship, so once you unlock it, you use it on any ship, but this is just something to look into. But anyways, 100% flight speed increase, 100% turn rate increase, and 10% to 50% all damage of energy weapons for 10 seconds. So I think that means it keeps on increasing. So yeah, there it is. Increases with the proximity to enemy target. Yeah. So yeah, the closer you are, the more damage. That's pretty usual. And in terms of design, the only thing I keep thinking of for this is trilobites. So take that with what you will if you want to fly this ship, but of course you can customize it to the regular, what's it called? Saber class look. As for the Equinox or the Tier 6 Nova, I don't know what I want to say about this design. I don't quite like it. I don't have many words for that, but yeah, anyways, let's get to the stats. Same thing, Tier 6, Federation Allied, Shield modifier of 0.9, well, it's a science vessel, so... Oh, right, it's a pilot scout ship, I'm sorry. Scout ship is the Raider version of science vessels. So it does have Raider flanking, I think. Yep, it does have Raider flanking. A shame it's not enhanced Raider flanking, but that's wishing for too much. 1.2 shield modifier, yep. 4-2 weapons, nice. So having a total of 6 weapon supports is pretty normal for raiders and scout ships, as well as science vessels. 2 device slots, yeah, all right. 1 commander science pilot. So a pilot is not usually mixed very well with science, so this is a very odd choice. But anyways, Universal Ensign, Lieutenant Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal. So as a scout ship, you have your versatility. Of course, you have your commander science, of course, but the rest is up to you. Oh, 2 Lieutenant Commander Universals. Very good. But yeah, scout ship. So 325, again, that adds up to 10, so that's not what fleet ship and fleet level ships have of 11 slots, but that's a good number. Base turn is 16. Yeah, it's a scout ship. Understandable. 0.2 modifier, 75 inertia. Oh, it has higher inertia than the Escort. Wow, okay. +5 weapon power, engine power, and 10 auxiliary power. I'm surprised there is no increase in shield power, but okay. And we'll have to look at the console in a bit. Pilot maneuvers. Well, is it wise to use pilot maneuvers with these spindly pylons? But okay, yeah, it has pilot maneuvers. Interesting. We've mentioned radar flanking. It can use dual cannons. Well, it's a scout ship, so this is radar flanking if you're wondering. So 25% increase to damage for NPCs you fire in the rear arc, but it's lower to 8.25 if you're firing on a player. So, alright, whatever. Sensor analysis, science vessel. Subsystem targeting, nobody uses this, honestly. Secondary deflector, good. And here's the scout ship package, Admiralty stats if you're curious. Let's have a look at the Nucleogenic Ignition. So, interestingly about this is it's actually pretty decent. So, it gives 14.3 Starship shield regeneration and 28.5 Starship control expertise. So, you have your good stats to be improved for a science build. So, it's an area of effect attack. When you hit your target, it creates a healing aura around your enemies. So, based on these stats, this is just the stats we got from the stream. Depending on your EPG level, these numbers will change. So, each foe within 10 kilometers will receive 1012.7 radiation damage every second for 15 seconds. So, yeah, 15 seconds is not too bad. Seems a bit short though. And to allies within 2 kilometers of the affected foes, they get plus 210 hit points and 210 shield regeneration and 2-minute recharge as usual. So, yeah, interesting, isn't it? Damage and some healing. So we'll have to see how this competes with those top-end or more usual EPG consoles, but this can definitely serve as a very good EPG console. And we've reached the end of the article, but the Starship Trait is Synthetic Good Fortune, so this has a passive. It gives you plus 25 Starship sector speed travel, so you can travel faster in sector space or at warp. And when you activate this, which is activated by pilot and control abilities, it grants control expertise and critical chance. So it's plus 5 Starship control expertise, so more control, as in control that gets gravity well, so pulling or confusion or, yeah, well, control, right? There's a list, if you look it up, that shows you the abilities that count as control abilities. And pilot abilities is just from the pilot, what is it called? Specialization. So when you activate those, you get plus 5 control expertise and plus 0.5 critical chance. And this lasts for a total of 5 minutes and can stack up to 40 times. So what that means is, so 5 times 40, that's 200 to control expertise. So nice. And 0.5 times 40, that's 20% increase to critical chance. So 5 minutes and stacking up to 40 times. 20% increase to critical chance. That's quite significant. But that assumes you can manage to activate 40 control expertise, control abilities in 5 minutes. So that equals to 8 abilities per minute. Of course, if you have pilot abilities, add those in. But that seems somewhat difficult, and maybe detrimental to your overall DPS if you're using a science build. Well, I mean, are you going to add many control abilities to an energy build? I don't know. Maybe to a torpedo build, but yeah, 8 abilities per minute. That's a lot of abilities to use. But that, speaking of which, a 20% increase to critical chance, that's quite comparable to one very good Starship trait, which is the Universal Design Starship trait from the Crossfield Refit, 32nd century refit of the Crossfield class, and that gives 2% critical chance and 10% critical severity lasts for 20 seconds and can stack up to 5 times. So that one's a lot easier to manage when you activate universal consoles. And that means it stacks up to 10% critical chance and 50% critical severity. So it's half the percentage of this synthetic good fortune Starship Trait, but it stacks up a lot faster with only 5 stacks. And it also has the bonus of critical severity. So this could be a nice alternative. It's definitely cheaper because that one comes from a very sought-after ship that comes from a lockbox, and this is a C-store ship. So it can definitely work as a good alternative to universal designs, or you could stack these two together. But again, it's highly demanding if you want to use this effectively to use a lot of control abilities. And those, other than Gravity Well, even Gravity Well is not very much a good DPS ability. Like, I know a lot of people say Gravity Well is a very good DPS ability. It's great for holding enemies, and the damage is only decent. There's many other science abilities that do much more damage. So, as I said, you might be sacrificing a little bit of DPS just for this increase and having the sufficient amount of control abilities to do this. The average tier 6 ship will have 13 ability slots, and they're definitely not going to be all science slots. So, well, let's take the scenario. The Vern ship, for example, if I recall, has up to... you can have up to 11 science slots using the universal bridge officer slots. But you're definitely not going to be using all of them for control. Well, you can try, but yeah. But anyways, great trait, decent console for the Equinox. The ship itself is not bad at all. This one could be useful for beam. I mean, it is for beam builds. So, and the increase of damage is respectable. The Trius protocol could be useful for PvP or for survivability. The Vinci itself is, well, that could serve as an alternative to the Maquis Raider, but again, there's only 4/3 for weapons, so you're losing a little bit of DPS if you're going for a cannon build, but for a beam build, which it seems this is pushing, it could work. But yeah, so what am I looking forward to these? Less so the Saber, a little bit of interest in the Nova, so if these are going to be sold separately, which again, there's no mention of that, but in the stream they did say that, so that would be nice. I got 2 things on my shopping list now: the Nova class and the what is it called? The Blockade Runner. So, but yeah, so these are cool ships and in the C-store, so lovely. But again, maybe the fleet ships will be released in the future. We'll have to see. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and ring the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Helps out the channel quite a lot, and it's free, so why not? Also, you can contribute to my Patreon if you want to. Link in the description. We'll also find the link to my membership and my Discord server where you can speak to fans and I directly. Alright, see y'all next time. Bye!